Gary, obvious first question. How pleasing is it to have Owen back in the building?
Yeah, he's arrived this morning in training. He's training with the group, and it's great to have him back in the building, and he's fitted in straight away as we expected him to.
How straightforward a process was it in getting him back?
Well, he got in his car and he drove along the motorway, got to the training ground, got out of the car, went into the building, got changed, and came back out and trained with us. So very easy.
In terms of, were there other financial issues to consider?
I don't get involved in all those. The money people run the club, and the money people run all the football clubs, and conversations take place, of course. But ultimately, if Mr. Mourinho wants to sign someone for Spurs in this window, he's got to go to Mr. Levy and ask for the money. He either says yes or he says no, and then as manager you have a choice on what you do. So I don't get involved in all the money side of it. I do the work and I like the player, and then the negotiations take place between the agents and the players and the owners of both clubs.
How early then did you decide that you wanted to bring Owen back?
I think it was obviously when you're only allowed to bring him back when the details of the contract state, and we just kept, what's the word, we just honoured that side to for everybody that was involved in the agreement.
Much was sort of made, wasn't it, about his comments sort of building up to January about he'd be disappointed if he had to come back. Have you had to address that when you've spoken to him? How was he about coming back?
Well, he's in the building. It's he always has been. He's no different to Amari Patrick, to Sam Hornby, that are out on loan and playing. They're Bradford City players and they're contracted to Bradford City. So with all the players that we have that are out on loan or not out on loan, once you sign a contract with a club, they pay your wages, and you can bet your bottom dollar if we didn't pay the wages, there'd be an outcry. So from that point of view, he's fine. He's come back and got on with it. And
do you see him here for the rest of the season now? Because Richie Wellens has spoken on the back of his departure, saying there might be some developments in the next few days. They want him back.
I can't comment on Richie Wellens and what he said or what Swindon might do or might not do. We just got to focus on Crawley. That's our main aim now.
With Owen back then, does he? Do you have to change your way of playing to accommodate him, or does him coming back allow you to play a different way?
I'd throw it back at you and say which way which.
Well, I mean, you're the manager, so it's obviously. I'm just interested because obviously he's a different sort of striker to what you've had in the building.
Well, I think there's a lot of what's the word? People are sort of like saying, "Oh, you can play two up front now. That's why he's got all his goals." They didn't play 4-4-2 very often, Swindon, to be perfectly honest with you. And on Saturday they played 4-3-3, which we matched them up with. Look, we'll put him in the team and play the way that we always want to play, which sometimes you're able to do, and sometimes you're not. But we ain't going to be a team that just sits there and kicks it as far as possible. Ironically, over the Christmas period, the best we've played and the most chances that we've had, we've drawn. So he goes into the squad and goes into contention for Saturday.
How excited are you then by the potential of, if he hits the ground running and finds the form that he's been on, and if you can get it right up top, because you're so solid defensively, about what can happen going forward?
Yeah, well, that's the whole aim of the game, isn't it? You try and keep it out at one end and try and score as many as you possibly can at the other, and the objective of the game will never change. And I'm not being sarcastic there; it's just a matter of fact.
I'm just interested because obviously we've spoken before about conversion rates not being as what you would have wanted. You've got somebody in now who's 23 and 22.
Yeah, exactly. So, from our point of view, I said it when it got released, it's up to us to keep providing him with the opportunities to keep adding to that wonderful tally that he's got.
And presumably you've got a bit of a selection headache up top as well, because you've got two players in Remy and Shea who've come off the bench and had impacts as well.
The game changes this year for us have been, really good, and Shea coming on and doing what he did on Saturday, and so I think that's 4 points we've taken out of a possible 6 against the league leaders, and the impact that Remy did when he came on, that's what you want, and that's what I mean. It's a squad game, and it's not just the starting 11, it's the impact that everybody has throughout the course of a season, and with what we've been through in terms of injuries and illnesses over the Christmas period, everybody's played their part, and you've seen the value of a squad.
Mm-hmm. And let's talk about the defensive side of things for a moment. I know you spoke to Simon about Anthony O'Connor. Difficult season for him last year. Maybe under the radar for some this season, but he's doing really, really well at the back. Yeah,
he's come back, and I think when you look at the position that we're in, I said it a couple of weeks ago about the players not getting enough credit, and I think you have to take into consideration the fact that the teams was relegated last year, and the mental scars that could have on players, and the knock-on effect it could have leading into the next season. But I think from Anthony's point of view and Richard O'Donnell's point of view, the way that they've responded, clean slate, come back in and had a right good go at it, and like you say, the performances have warranted them, being picked every week, and 2, getting recognition for how they've gone about it.
And in terms of the season, I know when we've spoken before, you've sort of said it's been a bit too early to assess what's gone on. We're just over halfway now. What's your assessment of this campaign?
Yeah, we're just over halfway.
I'll get that answer however many games in. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is. It's exactly where it is. We can't fast forward anything. We can't rewind anything now. We just got to look at the next game, which is Crawley. And I know that sounds rather dull and boring, but that's where we're at, I'm afraid.
And in terms of personnel, how are you injury-wise at the moment?
We've got back. I'm just thinking. No, the only possible one would be Calvin Mellor. But it might just be a bit too soon for him. Jamie Devitt is very close, needs a game which we're trying to get for next week, which will help him just push on a little bit further, and we'll go from there on that. Apart from that, I think everybody's fit.
Crawley, tough one at Valley Parade a couple of months ago. What are you expecting from them?
Well, they've got a good squad. They've got a new manager that's gone in there. So he's trying to put his stamp on it, and obviously there's been a free week, so he'll be able to get more of his ideas over in training than possibly over the Christmas period where it's game after game after game. And like I say, there are no easy games in this league, and so we know that we've got to go and build on last week's performance, second half especially, where we've gone and had a lot of possession. We've worked a lot on creating chances this week, and we'll be looking for that, and to continue this good run that we're on. We're 8 unbeaten. Everything becomes a habit, and so we're looking to carry that going.
Just a final one on Chris Taylor. I think his 2-month deal will be up in the next 7 days or so. What's happening with him?
We're in negotiations, and we're talking with him now, so hopefully there'll be an announcement shortly.
Thank you.
You say about Crawley having had the week off last week. How important has it been for you to have had this full week of training?
Well, I think it's always good when the amount of football that they've had, that you can give them a little bit of a breather, because you hear the Premier League bosses going on about the fixture list, and we're no different in that sense. We're probably a little bit harsher because we can't, or it's a little bit more harsh on us because you can't carry the size of squads that they can carry. So, but everybody's in the same boat, so it was good to at least give them a little bit of a breather. and then spend some time, like you say, getting them going again and getting them back on the grass.
You mentioned the size of squads. Is it a case in the transfer window, as we are, of looking at who might be leaving or who other teams are coming and asking about, as much as it is about who you'd like to bring in, and trying to keep the squad as strong as it is now?
I think it's something that you have to manage both, like you say. Experience always tells you can't just say, no, that's it, I'll just crack on, because then all of a sudden something comes out of the side door that you didn't see happening, and then you have to react and all that. So it's constantly looking and constantly being in contact with people, both, like you say, for ins and not necessarily outs, but reactive. If someone come and offered, like I said earlier, money for one of the other players that the club couldn't turn down, then the manager can throw his toys out the pram. Of course he can, but doesn't achieve anything at the end of it if the deal is that good.
Cheers.
So, have you had any inquiries or any interest in any of your players as well?
No.
Because obviously you've got players who are not playing in the team at the moment. What's the scenario with them? Is it just a case of...
No, I think it's the same all along with the competition. We always want competition, and you've seen the value of the squad this year, the amount of injuries and illnesses that we've had.
And obviously going back to Owen, who's saying about coming back in, I mean, when you've got a player who's done so well at one club and now he's come back to another club,
Yep.
regardless of that, it's his parent club, is it a case of a little bit of having to put a little bit of an arm around him and just sort of saying you're as wanted here as you perhaps were there?
Yeah, exactly. And the conversations took place today, and I think once we get to the weekend, you go day by day with it and get to the weekend, then all of it just all concentrates then on the football.
I was going to say, footballers perhaps like creatures of habit. Once
Yeah.
he's playing again,
Exactly.
in a team, in a game, it's perhaps moves on a little bit.
Yeah.
And for yourselves and presumably the club, it's nice sort of not to have this sideshow, for a better word.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, and that's it. Isn't it? It's the same with anything. Once you get going.
And the other players, obviously seeing him come back, it must be great news for them. And
The banter's been great, as you can imagine. So the players are a good set of lads, no matter who comes in. When we've had people on trial, they always take them in and look after them properly. And then it was the same with today with it when he come back in, and on the training ground.
And also he's coming back into a club, as you say, 8 games unbeaten. So it's not like it's a complete culture shock of a team doing well to another team who weren't.
No, exactly. Yeah.
And Harry Pritchard, any
No. Next week, hopefully, he gets back out on the grass. He's had, like I say, he's had a bit of treatment this week. So he's been told that he can step it up a little bit. So this time next week, leading into the Scunthorpe game, we certainly expect those two to be available for selection.